Yeah, all good. Amazing. All right. Well, with that being said, ladies and gents, let's get into the presentation. Okay. It is super important, as I mentioned, for me to have that interaction with you guys. So even though I've gone ahead and turned off the Q&A just while I'm doing the presentation, for me, I spend weeks and weeks putting this together in my team, and this takes so much energy out of me, to present all of this stuff. And I think half of that is just how excited I get by sharing this stuff with you. So I love to see the interaction from you guys. Now, multiple times during the presentation, instead of asking you to drop a yes or something in the Q&A chat, okay, like we normally do, and then it just gets like super distracting. There's so many comments, like, it's hard to focus on the main thing. Instead, this time around, what I'm going to ask you to do is I'm actually going to ask you to hit the reaction button on the bottom right corner of the live chat, okay? So in the bottom right, you're going to see an emoji. Okay, you can pick different reactions. So a heart emoji, a fire emoji, whatever it is, either that or hit the like button. Okay, so I'll tell you depending on which one, because then it's just super cool. I still see that, okay, cool, you guys are really like vibing with it, or you guys agree, or, I have your permission to move on, all that sort of stuff without things getting drowned out during the main presentation. So with all that being said, I actually want to start off by making a bold claim, okay? Because in our 5 days together, I actually have one goal: to show you a brand new opportunity that's currently allowing regular everyday people to create an online income faster than ever in history. Okay, so that way you can walk away from these 5 days with a clear, proven path to building an online income that doesn't depend on your experience, your credentials, or anything that you've built before, starting from exactly where you are right now. Not a side hustle you have to grind to maintain, and not a business that trades one form of time for money for another, but a real structured income that runs independently of your hours, built on a model that's already working for regular people with no prior experience, no authority, and no special advantages. People who are exactly where you were just a few short months ago, okay? We have 19-year-olds making more than doctors, retired individuals who have never worked with computers in their lives, making a full-time income to supplement their retirement checks, as well as people from all walks of life, such as single dads, moms with multiple kids, college graduates and dropouts, people from small cities and countries with few local opportunities. All of them are taking advantage of the same opportunity by combining the power of two of the fastest growing industries in this new economy that we're headed towards. Look, because of the recent advancements in AI, the world is changing faster than ever. The job market is changing overnight. I'm sure that you've heard about the recent layoffs, okay? I'm sure this isn't news to you. The way we make money is about to change drastically. We have the CEO of Ford claiming that AI will wipe out half of the white collar jobs in the US. And by the way, if you think that you're safe because you work for a small or a medium-sized company, it's actually quite the contrary, okay? There are thousands of small and medium-sized companies laying off employees and no longer replacing those roles. But not because they weren't good at their jobs, but because AI tools have made them unnecessary. And they are doing that silently. And all of that points to one conclusion. There is a silent restructuring that's going on right now. And, it's funny because most people assume that's bad news, okay? You shouldn't, because there are a bunch of first-time business owners taking advantage of this to get paid as much as doctors and lawyers every single month, even as non-tech individuals or as their first ever online venture, and using this opportunity to get paychecks like this every single week. And if I can help you take advantage of this too, we can make you ungovernable. That is the moment you achieve true ownership of your own life and your own decisions, when you go from doing things because you need to do them and start doing things because you want to do them. It's when you stop having limits on what you can buy, where you can go, and what you can spend your time on. And there's nothing more powerful in your life. There's no more powerful shift than this. Because from that point on, no one can ever tell you what to do, ever again. And that is the moment your life truly begins. And because of that, I'm here to challenge you to use this same opportunity to start your own digital business in the next 5 days. My question to you is, are you down for the challenge? So let's make a deal here. I'm going to show how you too can take complete advantage of this massive opportunity before it's too late, but only if you agree to listen with an open mind and take imperfect action. If you agree, I'll give you the exact blueprint that has helped people such as Mila, to generate her first 1,200 online while being a mom, Priscilla to generate 2,000 pounds, Kuba to go from 0 in May to 2,500 in June and then 3,500 in July, this faceless user to generate his first 1,000 in 25 days, his second 1,000 in 20 days, and his third 1,000 in just 13 days, and cross that 10K a month mark a few months later. Enric to reach 10,000 in 1.5 months, and Armando to generate 111,000 in his first 45 days applying this at only 19 years of age, and a few months later to buy his dad a truck and retire his parents. Look, I have dozens of pages of results I could share, but we could be here for hours going through all of them, and I want to respect your time and get right into it. I am here to give you an alternative path, but let me be very, very, very clear, and I'm going to tell you straight to your face with what I teach you over the next 5 days. You're not going to fire your boss overnight. You're not going to become a millionaire in days, or even get to 10,000 by the end of the week. If that is what you're expecting, unfortunately, I can't help you. And you can disconnect from this live right now. Instead, what I will show you is an easy way to get into this new economy. So that way you're not sitting on the sidelines while eliminating most of the risk that usually comes with starting something online. What I don't want you to have to do is quit your job, quit school, quit whatever you're doing right now to pay the bills. This pisses me off, okay? So apologies if this is very charged, but I actually get very annoyed by this, okay? You see this all the time out there. You see this narrative that you need to go all in, that you need to burn the bridges, and that you should quit your job and everything else you're doing. Let me tell you straight up, that's a terrible fucking idea, okay? Why would you expose yourself to so much risk when you can start small with very little risk on the side of whatever you're doing right now? This way, even if you're working 8 hours a day or studying full time, you can still dip your toes into the water and get started without having to dive in head first. And then once you see things are working, then you can jump all in and scale to bigger numbers. Sounds like a plan? Great. Now, let's address the very big elephant in the room, okay? If this makes so much money, why would you share this with me, especially for free? Look, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not doing this out of the kindness of my own heart. I would love to say that I am, but the truth is I'm not. I have a very specific business reason for wanting you to succeed. And I'm going to tell you upfront because you don't have a reason to trust anything I say here. Here's the deal. Last year, I invested a large portion of my net worth to become a co-owner of WAP, the fastest growing digital product platform in the world. And I will talk about how I've built this wealth in the first place in just a few minutes. But what matters now is this. We are already a tech unicorn. That is a company that is valued at over $1 billion. And because of individuals taking advantage of this massive opportunity that I'm going to show you right now, WAP is on its way to becoming a $100 billion company. And the way WAP makes money is very simple. We process payments and take a very small percentage of every transaction on the platform, which means every time you make $100 with this opportunity, we make a tiny amount from that. The more you earn, the more WAP earns. So the more people who get into this revolution, the more money WAP makes. It's the same model the world's best private banks use with their wealthiest clients. The richer their clients get, the richer they get, okay? So it's fair to say that I have a pretty good incentive to show you what's working right now. And tell me, wouldn't you want to be at the forefront of a revolution like this, where regular people are making this much money starting from zero? Look, I know the smart people here understand this. Now, I want you to pay very close attention to what I'm about to tell you, okay? What I'm about to say might sting, but I'd rather set realistic expectations from the start. I can't guarantee anything in this world. The only thing guaranteed in life are death and taxes. What I can promise you is that I'm going to give you the exact step-by-step blueprint responsible for making $23.9 million in the first 90 days for the lucky few who took action the last time I decided to share this publicly with the world. Look, I have only ever revealed this opportunity system twice before. The first time I revealed it, those who took action saw an astonishing 2.1 million in earnings in the first 30 days of applying the system, 5.5 million in earnings the first 60 days of applying the system, and $8.9 million in earnings in the first 90 days of applying the system. Then, due to the nature of how rapidly this highly lucrative opportunity is growing, I decided to host a second challenge back in September last year. Second time was revamped, okay? Because I thought that we could do it better than the first time. So, going into it, I knew that this was going to be the best challenge yet. And fortunately, I was right, okay? Those who saw this opportunity and came in with an open mind, they took the leap of faith and they joined that challenge. And as for the numbers, I guess they kind of speak for themselves. They earned $4 million in the first 30 days applying the system. And I couldn't believe my eyes. Within 60 days, they went on to generate 9.8 million, which actually surpassed our first challenge. Now, my friends, let me shock you because it still blows my mind to this day. By the 90th day, that cohort had generated a total of $15 million in tracked earnings, meaning that's 5.2 million more than the first iteration, or even better, a 53% increase in earnings from one challenge to the next, adding up to a grand total of 23.9 million from both challenges combined. That is all tracked revenue on WAP, by the way. And beyond the financial incentive that obviously I get from you making money from WAP, I put my reputation online in a way that no one else in this industry has. Because instead of coming to you after the fact with like a handful of cherry picked success stories, I publish the aggregate results of the entire competition in real time. Okay, these 23.9 million generated were updated live on the leaderboard in real time for the entire world to see. So when I first put that leaderboard up, it very well could have ended at 50,000 instead of 23.9 million. Okay, what I'm saying is this: if this system didn't work, there would be nowhere for me to hide. That's not something you do unless you are absolutely certain that the system delivers. And as you've seen, it did work. I'll be honest, better than I even expected. So from all angles, it is in my best interest to show you exactly how these people are making so much money on our platform every single day from this opportunity. I'm telling you all of this so that way you can enjoy the next 4 days without that voice in the back of your head asking, oh, what's in it for him? Because now you know exactly what's in it for me. Every system I share, every tool I hand you, every shortcut I give you, all of it only matters to me if it actually works for you. And that is why I'm running the third and final version of this challenge. And after me and my team ran our projections, we expect to not only surpass all the numbers you've just seen, but to blow them out the water. And I want you to reap the rewards this time around because it's going to be the last time you will be able to. Unfortunately, if you miss a single second of what I'm providing over the next 4 days, then that's it forever because this is the last time I will be ever sharing this. So here's how this is going to work. We've got a great presentation here that I spent the last few weeks preparing. Today's one should go on for about an hour or so. Just so you guys are aware, every day you can prepare about 90 minutes. Today we'll go a little short. I'm going to keep it more punchy for you guys so that way you have energy for tomorrow. Tomorrow you can allocate about 2.5, 3-ish hours. Every day is about 3 hours, our live presentations. By the way, if that sounds like a lot, our old presentations used to be like 5 or 6 or 7 hours. Once again, going back to this being the third and final iteration, that was actually that was the only other complaint we ever got is like, hey, like 5 or 6 hours is the law. So can you make it shorter? So yeah, we cut it down by half, which has been a lot of work. But yeah, main presentation for the next few days will be about 1.5 hours. And then we'll do hour of, we've got some cool interactive Q&As, stuff like that after. So that's the structure of it. After the formal presentation with you guys, we're going to hang out in a more informal setting, okay, just to answer all the questions you have and make sure you have all the information you need to crush it in the next days of the challenge. It is essential that you are live to join us for the Q&A because as soon as the live session ends, that's actually going to get cut out of the recording. Now, as I said, the stance I'm approaching this challenge is from a place of complete transparency with you. So in case you are wondering if there will be a paid offer at the end of this challenge, yes, there will be. I'm not going to hide it or surprise you with it on the last day. For those who want to move faster and work extremely closely with me, that is what the offer is built for. This will be an even better opportunity than the ones I opened the last 2 times, which generated 23.9 million in tracked earnings. But I'm only going to say 2 things about it. First, you're going to get a chance to work closely with me. You and I are working together side by side, locked in for 4 days straight in an implementation bootcamp. But only for the first 888 people who join us tomorrow, they will get access to it, okay? Second, either you 10x your investment on this or we keep working with you until you do. Now, I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about this here because we have a lot to cover, which is why I created a waitlist group where I'm going to share more information about this offer. I'm going to leave a link for this a little bit later on. Members of this group actually get access to the full offer 15 minutes before it goes live to everyone else. Just so you understand why this is so crucial, the last time I opened this opportunity, every single spot was gone faster than I can announce it in the live. And unfortunately, so many people missed out on the opportunity. So if working alongside me for 4 days sounds interesting to you, make sure you join the waitlist group when I drop the link for it at the end of today's episode. As I've said, I'm being this transparent so that way you can just spend the next 4 days with your full attention on the content. So that by the end of this week, the only thing on your mind is making your first dollar online. So, are you ready to get into it? Let me have a swig of tea. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to go and hit the reaction button, okay? So one of the reactions, or drop a like, and I've got it up on my right. By the way, when I'm looking to the right, I promise I'm not being rude. I'm seeing all the reactions come in. All right, beautiful. So let's start with a question. Have you ever noticed how every so-called major wealth building opportunity in history had some sort of barrier that kept you out? It almost felt like there was always something that was meant to give the average person, okay, a chance to get in, but it never turned out like that. And the truth is, the game was designed that way. So if you didn't come in with some sort of unfair advantage, you were never really the target. But this model that I'm about to present to you is the first model that I've actually seen that flips that logic. Take real estate. For decades, people were told that it was the surest way to build a wealth. And for the people who already had capital, for the people that already had money, yeah, sure, I guess it was. But for someone who's just starting out, the entry point was out of reach. You needed a down payment. You needed a credit history. You needed to qualify for a mortgage. And by the time you saved up enough capital, the market had already moved on. It just wasn't feasible. Starting a traditional business hasn't been that much better either. Okay? You needed connections to get your first clients, experience to be taken seriously, and capital to cover your costs before revenue came in. Most people who tried it burned through their savings and ended up worse than when they started. Even when the internet opened up new opportunities, the barriers simply changed shape. Dropshipping required capital for ads and testing products. High-ticket sales required technical skills and the ability to sell in person. Building an audience required years of consistent content creation with no guarantee of success. Now, this new opportunity I'm uncovering today is the first opportunity I've seen in my entire career that has removed every barrier that historically kept regular people out of the most profitable industry in the world. You don't need to spend years developing a skill. You don't need to invest virtually any money to get your first product created. You don't even need to show your face online if you don't want to. That is because a new version of artificial intelligence has completely removed all of the barriers. Now, I'll explain in detail how that works very shortly. For now, what you need to understand here is this. Because of this, someone sitting where you are right now can get into the same industry that has made me over $100 million and start generating real income from it very rapidly. Exactly like James did. James was sitting exactly where you are now, just a few months ago, watching a previous version of this challenge. He took action on the opportunity that I presented and made $6,000 in his first week in the business and ended up at $16,000 for the month of January. And you know what I love the most about his story is that James is actually married, okay? At 24 years old, he is married. Imagine being able to provide for your wife and be the man of the house at 24. What an honor that is for us as men. And the truth is, at 24, most people are just getting started in the job market. And by the way, that's totally fine. That's totally normal. But being able to use this opportunity to achieve at 24 what most people will only achieve in their 40s and 50s, that is something that only this opportunity can provide you with. And by the way, he said it himself. He wants to change his family's bloodline. And I think that's a feeling that a lot of us share here, okay? To become the first person in your family to break the cycle. Because most of us, we know what this is like. We grew up watching our parents stress about money. We saw them argue about bills at the kitchen table when they thought we weren't listening. We all know what that feeling is like, right? Them arguing at the kitchen table about bills because they think we've gone to bed. We saw them come home exhausted from jobs they hated but couldn't leave because there was no other option. We saw them sacrifice things they wanted so that way we could just have a little bit more. And somewhere along the way, we made a quiet promise to ourselves that one day, we would be the ones to change it. That the story wouldn't repeat itself. That our kids, our parents, the people we love, they wouldn't have to live like this. That is what breaking the cycle actually means. It's not just about making money. It's about becoming the person in your family who finally built something. So that way the people who sacrificed everything for you can look at you and know it was all worth it. And the beauty of this model is that it allows you to do this regardless of your background or the life you lived so far. I mean, James's background before he got into this industry was working at a car wash in Target. And now he's here making more than most lawyers, most engineers, and other careers that would have required you to spend years, sometimes even decades, studying and climbing the corporate ladder to get to. And that is why I say that this opportunity removed all barriers that previously kept you out. You go through this process once, and the same system that generated those 23.9 million I showed you the last two times I revealed this to the public starts working for you. This way, for the first time ever, You're not on the outside looking in an opportunity that was designed for people who already had a head start. In fact, you can be the one with the head start because of AI. Don't you want to be one of the first people to get access to a big wealth building opportunity before it hits mainstream? If so, well, then this might be your chance. So, what actually is this opportunity that I keep hinting at? Well, have you ever seen something like this? A digital planner, maybe a wedding planner, maybe a downloadable budget planner. Maybe you've seen this one-page diet plans or one-page training plans, or even this, an ebook on any general topic, like how to grow tomatoes at home, or how to train your dog, or how to play a guitar for beginners. What if I told you AI makes these with just 3 clicks of a button and it is completely designed for you? It writes all the text that's needed and it develops the entire thing for you. It then proceeds to hand you on a silver platter a final polished version that you can start making hundreds of dollars with per day. Look, the most astonishing part of this is that it takes less than 10 minutes to generate what are known as AI digital products. You see, it was the exact type of digital products that were responsible for those 23.9 million in revenue that I've shown you. And we developed the system that I'm about to show you to make it as hands-free and seamless for anyone, no matter the skill level or experience, to create their own AI digital product. From complete beginners who haven't touched a single AI tool before, to the seasoned AI veterans who know how to use AI, but don't know how to actually make life-changing income with it. Yet is the key word. So, what are AI digital products and how do they make you jaw-dropping money? AI digital products is what our proprietary in-house AI effortlessly creates for you, giving you the ability to start seeing profits roll in rapidly. It is typically a downloadable piece of content. It could be a PDF, a guide, a template, or a curated resource. The format really doesn't matter. What matters is, does it solve a problem? Think of it like a recipe book, okay? It gives you the ingredients and the step-by-step instructions on how to make food. It doesn't matter if it's 1 page or 20 pages long. People try to overcomplicate this, but it's actually super simple. For a product to be considered a digital product, it just needs to follow this rule. It needs to be created and delivered completely digitally. That's it, okay? That's basically the rule. So, with that definition, does that mean that a Kindle book is a digital product? Yes, a Kindle book is a digital product. It's created and delivered digitally, so it's a digital product. Can a Notion template be considered a digital product? Yes, a Notion template is also created and delivered digitally, so that's a digital product. What about this collection of woodworking plans? Is it a digital product? Yes, for the same reasons. No physical shipping, no inventory, just information delivered through your computer. A PDF that was created once can be sold an infinite number of times. And finally, what about this online tennis course? Yes, that's also a digital product. There are people who sell planners, digital courses, or even ebooks. Those are all digital products. The possibilities are pretty much endless. There are thousands of formats that you can choose from, and I will show you exactly how to do that. The important thing to understand here is all you have to do is find one single topic, one AI digital product, okay? One single AI digital product is all it takes to completely change your financial situation. And I can say that with confidence. And I recommend this model to you because I speak from experience. I have been selling digital products for years now. I created one of the most successful digital products ever, Agency Navigator. And I went on to make over $100 million from digital products to date. That is how I built my fortune. So yeah, I guess you could say I practice what I preach. And this is all documented on my YouTube channel for anyone to see. You can literally see my videos from 10 years ago when I was a clueless 16-year-old living with my single mom. And the fact that matters here, the only fact that is important here is you just need to get this right once to hit anywhere from 1,000 to upwards of 10,000 per month. That is exactly what happened with this client of ours. He made $1,000 in his first month, 2,000 in his second month, and crossed a total of 15,000 in his first 3 months with AI digital products. Okay. One of the most interesting things I should say about this is he even said in his own words that he didn't expect to hit 10,000 this fast. Okay. He was one of the smart individuals who took action the last time I made this opportunity public back in September last year. Now, fast forward to February, and he's officially crossed the $10,000 a month mark. And when I look at a result like that, what matters to me is not that what he can afford to do with this money, it's actually what he can afford to not do with it, okay? Because at that level, he can afford to decide that he doesn't want to take orders from someone ever again and just quit his job because he doesn't depend on it. He can afford to decide that he doesn't need to live in the same place that he hates anymore because he's not physically stuck to that location. Or he can simply afford to not work today and instead go spend the entire day with his mom or his dad or with his partner or maybe his kids. Look, I'm sure you've asked yourself these questions a few times. How good would it feel if I could just do what I actually want to do today? How good would life be if I could do things because I want to do them and not because I need to do them? And I can tell you that from experience, that there is nothing money could ever buy that tops that feeling. The feeling of being able to do whatever the fuck you want to do without needing anyone else's approval. And I hope you get to experience this feeling yourself one day. I promise you, it will be one of the most liberating moments of your life. Everyone following so far, I hope I'm not going too fast, and I hope that bro, what are you doing? Fuck's sake. Okay, well, that was not part of the script for today. Okay, this is awkward. Okay, well, fuck it. I guess cat's out of the bag. I was meant to open this vault tomorrow, but Alex was definitely not meant to bring that in today. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna half open it for you guys, because tomorrow we're opening the vault, and some people are gonna get access and they're gonna be able to see what's inside the vault. But for today, let me see if I can. Stay. Okay, we're gonna keep that half open for now. Okay, that should be fine. All right, that did not go to plan. Look, if you guys want to know what's in the vault, I'll reveal it later. That wasn't part of today's script. Let's get back to the presentation. I'll address it later. Look, what surprises most people when they first see this is that it doesn't actually take a lot to make a significant income with these AI digital products, okay? For example, on WAP, there's actually a French guy selling a digital product about Pokemon cards collecting for 25 euros a month. He's making 37,000 euros a month from his from his Pokemon digital product. There's also this other guy on WAP with a digital product on how to create Fortnite maps. He has 37 people paying him $250 a month. That's over 9,000 a month. Guys, 37 people. That's all it takes to make a six-figure income with this business. In fact, he's made over $126,000 from that single product. And we're not talking about hundreds of people here. We're not talking about thousands. We're talking about 37 people. Do you really think that it's out of this world to get 37 people to buy your digital product? Especially when AI makes it possible to build products that are genuinely useful to specific people. By the way, neither of them have ever shown their face online. Now, you're probably wondering how to actually make these AI digital products so that way you can make real tangible money. Because let's face it, numbers on a screen aren't real until it's cold hard cash in your bank account. So here is how we turn a simple AI digital product into an actual income for you. What you need to understand for now is there's no building, no filming, no writing from scratch, okay? Because AI handles the entire creation process for you. You wake up, you run the system, and by the time you normally be halfway through your morning routine, you have a finished product ready to put out there. The same way, you don't need to know how to build a car to drive one. You don't need to know how to create a digital product to profit from one. And you can start this week already, not after you've learned more, saved more, or become more. Right now, exactly as you are. I like to think of it as digital real estate, okay? I'm sure we can all relate to this here. This is like self-help entrepreneur starter pack, okay? We've all read Rich Dad Poor Dad, okay? And we all understand that the only way to escape the rat race is by stopping trading your time for money, okay? Instead, you should collect assets that pay you money regardless of whether you're there or not. And I like to think of digital products as the ultimate asset that you can create. It's like having your own real estate portfolio. Each new digital product you add is a new rental property to your portfolio. The difference is that it's digital real estate, okay? So it doesn't cost you anything to build a new property. And you can build as many properties as you want for free. Think about it. If someone offered to give you a free rental property every single week for completely free, would you accept it? Of course you would, right? So why don't you build digital real estate? Let me give you an example here of Zada. We actually just recorded a client interview with her because we love to interview some of our most successful clients inside of Monetize, my program where we help people start their AI digital product business. And this is a super interesting story. Zada is originally from Bosnia. She's a mom of two young boys, ages 1 and 5. And you can imagine, okay, that takes a toll, okay? Taking care of them is already a full-time job, okay? She's an accountant and she was approaching the end of her paid maternity leave. So she needed an income, but had zero desire to go back to accounting. She'd already tried multiple things before. Drop shipping, creating her own faces content, none of it worked. That is when she discovered the world of AI digital products and joined Monetize. She ended up launching an ebook on the buckwheat diet, selling it at 14 euros. The first month with that, she earned 11,000 euros from this digital product. And ever since launching, she's been doing anywhere from 6 to 8K a month consistently without having to put any extra work on top of what she already did to create the ebook in the first place. At most, she answers a few emails. And what I love the most about this story is that she didn't need to change any of her priorities. She works in the evenings after the kids go to sleep or during nap times. There's no, bad conscience pulling her in two directions because the model doesn't demand 10 hours a day. It's realistic, okay? And by the way, what's interesting is she actually didn't even quit her job to do that. She's still planning to go back to her accounting job in September before fully committing to this. Her goal is to get to 20K a month, and that's her basically I never go back number. Guys, I want you to think back to your life. Have you ever made any money from work that you've already done months ago without having to put more work into the same thing that's actually paid you that money? If yes, you know how powerful that feeling is. If you haven't, try to visualize this here for a second. Imagine you spend years building a house from scratch. You source the land, you lay the foundation, the framing, the plumbing, the roofing. You spend months watching it go from an empty lot to a frame to four walls to something that actually kind of resembles a house. It's a lot of fucking work, okay? But then when it's finally done and you manage to rent it out, something magical starts to happen. A check shows up in your account one month. Next month, the check hits again. And you didn't have to do any extra work to earn it. The house is already there. You didn't have to show up. You didn't have to answer emails. You didn't have to manage anyone or even think about it, okay? The next month, the check's there again. You could have taken the week off. You could have just stayed at home, relaxing. The check will be there either way. So what do? You decide to build another house, of course. And now you get 2 checks, and then you build another, and now you get 3 checks a month. Now you realize, well, you actually don't need to show up to work anymore if you don't want to. And you can travel when you want to wherever you want to go. And then maybe you can actually buy your parents their dream car, just like Armando did. Or maybe take your mom to that dream vacation to Paris that she always wanted. The thing here is, with AI digital products, you can get these exact same checks without having to build any houses, exactly like Zada did, without you having to spend years watching it go from an empty lot to a frame to 4 walls to something that actually resembles a home, without having to put tens of thousands of dollars down into buying the land and building the house. Guys, I'm sure you can think of someone in your life that you would love to be able to make their dreams come true. Okay, this is something I can deeply identify with because the Paris example, that was actually my mom and me. Okay, it was her dream to go to Paris, and I managed to make that reality for us. And this is the kind of things that building an AI digital product lets you experience. All you need to do is create a simple AI digital product, as simple as a 1-page PDF. Would you be willing to create an AI digital product and start building your digital real estate portfolio to accomplish things like this in your life? If so, what I want you to do is I want you to smash the like button. And let me see that counter go up while I have a swig of tea. All right, look. You're probably asking yourself, but I don't have a product. So how do I get into this? Well, it's actually very simple. We use AI to create the product for you. Let's say I wanted to sell a digital product in the woodworking space, for example. Here's what the original product looks like. Here is what I actually put together without knowing a single thing about woodworking in a few minutes with the power of AI. With the right AI tool, it can create an AI digital product like this in minutes. One with the potential to make you anywhere from a few $100 a month all the way to millions of dollars a year, just like the Ted's Woodworking has been doing, okay? This is probably gonna freak you guys out. Like, you guys probably don't realize the extent of how crazy this stuff is. If you weren't aware, this product has been making millions of dollars a year for years now. A simple digital product that you too can now create with AI in a matter of minutes. Do you understand how crazy that is? Now, you might be asking, well, how does the whole AI thing work? Look, let's strip away everything complicated about starting a business online for a second. What you are left with is one simple problem to solve, okay? Find something people want to pay for and create that product. Well, AI now handles that for you, okay? It scans Google, Amazon, and online communities and finds the gaps, the topics with hungry buyers and almost no good solutions yet, and then builds the entire solution for you. For example, I once created a product on a topic that I'm not the #1 expert in, okay? I created a mindset product, and I called it Millionaire Mindset. And this was actually my way of testing this stuff. And I priced it at $29. It turned out to be one of the best-selling digital products ever, with over 14,000 people buying it, okay? I made over $370,000 from this digital product from just over 90 minutes of work. Imagine being able to make more than most people make in a year for only 1.5 hours of your time. Most importantly, I got dozens and dozens of comments from clients praising the quality of the content of this AI digital product. And for all of that, there's no writing needed, there's no design work, there's no technical build, none of that, okay? This way, you can build an AI digital product in any niche, in any topic, in any market, regardless of whether you know anything about it. Your own knowledge and skills are no longer the ceiling on what you can create and how much you can earn. This means you can now make as much as a doctor without having to go through the decades of studying that it takes to become a doctor. You can make lawyer money without having to become a lawyer or get a degree. And that is a completely different kind of freedom, because it means the size of what you can build has nothing to do with the life that you've lived thus far. You are not capped by your background, your education, or the career path that you happen to end up on. And let me bring up some examples of Armando again, okay? Because it's such a good one. Before getting into digital products, he was working construction full time. And that's all he knew, because that is what his dad worked on. His dad was an immigrant who also worked construction his whole life. And Armando, from very early on, started to work in construction too to help his family out. In fact, Armando joined me live for the last Make Money Online challenge. Unfortunately, he's not able to make it here today, but I asked my editors to put together a 1-minute highlight of his story, because I want you to see with your own eyes what is possible here. So Ole, real quick, if you could just pull up the our conversation we had last time, because I think you guys are going to love this.
I was raised by immigrant parents, coming from a Hispanic background. All we know is working construction day to day. And mainly it was just seeing my dad, you know, it wasn't so much me. I knew I was gonna push through, didn't know how I was gonna make it happen, but main thing was just seeing my dad wake up every day, you know? Work, not because he wanted to, but because he had to. I was trying to make something happen with her construction. I was trying to do something about it until I came across the opportunity. That was the tipping point of my life. My brother comes one day, shows me a video of Iman. Never been exposed to online money. Check out the video, watch the whole video through, made an investment. I didn't even know how to use a laptop when I first started. All I knew, I had a dream in mind, changed the trajectory of my life, helped me lay the foundation of the growth that digital products had. I didn't personally know how to set it up. That was basically like a completely new business to me at the time. And then that's why I joined Monetize. First 3 months, we did about over 300,000. This month, we're projected to do over $250,000. When business started taking off, wrote it on my 2025 goals: retire my dad, pay off their house, buy a McLaren, buy my office, and move out. You know, my dad is earning those $30,000 annually, wasn't really making a lot of money, and he drove this 1999 Mustang. His birthday was coming up. I knew the exact truck he wanted. Looked at it, called the dealership, showed up, got the paperwork done. Dude, drove home. There was no, even when I bought my McLaren, there's no better feeling than that. Dad, here it is, it's yours.
Incredible. How crazy is Armando's story? And you know what I love the most about stories like that? Is that it shows that it doesn't matter what your background is. Because I know that a lot of you, okay, you didn't have too many options growing up. Maybe you had to start taking responsibilities from a very early age, whether it's working, taking care of your siblings, or taking care of the house. I know I did. Okay, I had to start working from a very early age to help me and my mom. I know some of you guys are working very hard right now in difficult, stressful jobs because, you know, in your situation, maybe you're a waiter, maybe you're working customer facing roles, maybe you're working construction as well. Or even if you already have a consolidated career, they're all difficult jobs. And when you're in a situation like that, it's very hard to just find a way out because you have very little time and you have bills to pay. And I can't, you know, of course you can't just quit to try something out and see if it works, okay? And once again, that is why I love this digital product industry so much. Okay, you can start from wherever you are while still keeping your main job, okay? Nothing about your current life needs to change for this to start working. The people making serious money with AI digital products right now are not, for the most part, people who went all in and restructured their entire lives to build this. There are people who built their first product in the hours that they had available, evenings, weekends, lunch breaks, while keeping whatever they were already doing intact. Exactly like Zada did, which means you can start building your own digital real estate portfolio this week already. And on tomorrow's session, I'm going to reveal exactly what this AI tool is that I use to create my own AI digital products. And I'll demo it live in practice so that way you can see how easy it is to use. Now, here's the reality that most people are trying to not think about, okay? Goldman Sachs published a research that over 300 million jobs will be replaced by AI, by 2030. And that's not a prediction about the future anymore. It is a description of what's already happening right now. You see, 37% of employers today are already preferring to use AI over hiring a recent graduate from the same task. The CEO of Shopify has already implemented a company-wide policy that no new hires will be approved unless it can be proven that AI cannot do the job. These aren't extreme predictions. These are examples of decisions being made right now at some of the most influential companies in the world that are directly affecting the job market that you're either currently in or about to enter. So here is why this matters to you. Every major technological shift in history has created two groups of people: the ones who adapted early and built wealth from the transition, and the ones who resisted until the transition happened to them. The people who got into Bitcoin before the mainstream caught on built wealth that changed their lives in the next two to three generations. The people who dismissed it as a fad watched others experience that instead. And right now, you get to decide which side of that line that you're on. So, do you want to be on the right side of the most significant economic shift of your generation using AI to build income, or do you instead want to wait to take action long enough and in the process have watch AI dismantle the income that you already have? This is not a future threat. This is the present reality, okay? As I was planning this presentation, I actually just Googled the term tech layoffs to see what news would pop up, and here's what I got. Tech layoffs are at their worst since 2023, and AI is a big reason. That's published 12 hours ago. AI pushes 2026 tech layoffs past 50,000, published 9 hours ago. Tech giant Oracle makes significant job cuts, once again, published 1 day ago. Guys, this is literally happening right now. And this is different from past revolutions, where just entry-level manual jobs got replaced. These people being laid off, they're smart people, probably smarter than you and me, okay? People who've spent their entire lives studying their craft and becoming specialists in their field, and even they got replaced. So if you think that studying more is the solution here to make you safe, unfortunately it's not. The only way to make yourself safe is to embrace this change, to be the person using the AI. And right now, in this moment, you are either the person who uses AI or the person AI is used to replace. Because the truth is, the people who built wealth from every major technological shift in history weren't the smartest or the most talented, okay? They were simply the ones who decided early. And that decision is sitting in front of you right now. If you want to start taking action on this, the first step you need to take is to join the WhatsApp group I will link at the end of today's session in about 20 minutes. And the second is to be here live tomorrow for the full step-by-step on how to do this in practice. Now, whenever I bring up AI digital products, people assume that to succeed in this space, you need to be someone, okay? That you need to have tens of thousands of followers. The funny thing is, that's actually, that's the reality, or I should say the reality is actually the complete opposite, okay? The vast majority of people generating serious income with AI digital products today are completely anonymous. In fact, 95% of our clients that monetize have never showed their face online. For example, one of the guys who ended up in the top leaderboards for the last challenge I hosted was Alex. Alex has a faceless digital product that shows non-US citizens how to access US credit cards. It sells for $19. He made over $144,000 in 90 days. He ranked 9th place in our competition, won a Cartier, which I actually had the pleasure of delivering to our in-person office, and that is the perk of this model. You don't need to put your face online if you don't want to. And it's funny, I know that whenever I mention that you don't need to do, that you can do this faceless and without any followers, most people don't really believe that's possible. And I get it, okay? Just like Vettel here. As he said, he was skeptical about doing it faceless. And then here's what happened right after. He got paid his first income from his digital product with a single listing that took him about 3 minutes to do. And guys, that might sound like much at first, but if he keeps getting just one sale like that, okay, or I should say it might not sound like a lot, but if he keeps just getting one sale like that a day for his AI digital product, okay, that can turn into quite a lot. That's $2,400 a month. And beyond the income, getting paid that first dollar has a very special meaning, okay? First, because it means you found proof of concept. That is, you found a product that people are willing to buy. And that's huge because with digital products, the person who sells one sells 10, who sells 10 sells 100, the person who sells 100 sells 1,000, which means the Vettel here with the $80 that he just made, okay, what that truly means is that he just found a product with the potential to make him financially independent. So yeah, okay, you can say, you can understand why he's hyped there, okay? He should be, because a single product like this has the potential to change your life. But truly, what I love the most about that story is that he just proved to himself that he is capable of making money outside of the traditional route. That is what that very first online commission or very first online sale means, okay? And I will tell you this right now. It is a moment you will remember forever, okay? I will never forget the day I made my first dollar online. That is the moment this truly becomes real. It feels like you just discovered a new reality that 99% of people are not aware of yet. And that now you have a clear, crystal clear path to truly break free. So you might be wondering, and how is it possible to do that faceless? Well, they built a product, they listed it on a marketplace, and they let the existing demand on that marketplace bring buyers to them. Now, tomorrow, I'm going to explain this whole process in detail. Don't worry. The reason this works is because of the nature of these AI products. You see, with AI digital products, the value isn't in you. It's in what the product points to. Nobody cares who compiled the top woodworking plans. They just care about the woodworking plans. No one cares who put together a compilation of 200 low-carb recipes. They care about the recipes themselves, okay? Take the guy making $9,000 a month selling Fortnite maps on WAP as an example. He's never shown his face online. In fact, most people would think that he's from the US or maybe from the UK. Take a guess where he's from. Vietnam. Imagine making $126,000 from a single digital product without ever showing your face from a place like Vietnam. How much of a difference would an extra $126,000 make in your life? It's the difference between checking your bank account before you go out for dinner and not thinking about it at all. It's the difference between staying in the job because you have to and staying because you choose to. Between telling your partner you can't afford the holiday versus booking it without even having a conversation. And here is what all of that means to you. It means that the version of this where success requires putting yourself out there isn't the version I'm going to teach you. What I'm going to show you is how to generate real income without anyone ever needing to know your name. Your closest friends don't need to know you're doing this. Your family doesn't need to know, okay? You will have a product sitting on a marketplace, buyers finding it on their own, and money hitting your account while you stay completely invisible. And I know why that matters a lot, okay? I understand. Some of you can't even tell the people close to you what you're working on because you already know exactly what would happen if you did. The looks, the comments, stuff like, oh, you're wasting your time. That stuff doesn't work. Get a real job. Who do you think you are? And so you've just kind of learned to keep it to yourself, to work on it quietly. Not because you're ashamed of it, but because protecting your vision from people who don't understand it sometimes can be the smartest thing that you can do. And honestly, I can tell you for a fact, some of the most successful people I have ever worked with started exactly like that. In silence, no announcements, no hype, just someone sitting alone at their laptop quietly building something while the rest of the world had no idea. That is what this allows you to do. No face on camera, no public profile, no one in your life needs to know. You just build it in the background and let the results speak for themselves. Now, I know exactly what's going through your head right now. If you have ever used AI before, you're probably thinking, can AI really create something that people will be willing to pay for? Isn't the output of AI quite generic and weak? Look, if you've ever tried using AI before and walked away thinking that it produces generic, unusable content, you're actually right about generic AI, that is. That is why we do not use generic AI to build our products. We use another type of AI. And the difference between the two is the difference between a product no one will pay for and one that generates tens of thousands of dollars. Tools like ChatGPT are built for general use. They're designed to answer any question, write any type of content, and serve any kind of person. And that's a big problem, okay? A tool built for everyone is generic and forgettable. No one pays for that. It's like asking a general practitioner to perform brain surgery. He knows a little bit about everything, but that's not what you need, okay? You need a specialist, and that's exactly why you cannot use tools like Chat or Claude or Gemini to do it. They are all general use tools that cannot do specialized jobs. What you should use instead is specialized AI. That is an AI that's built specifically for a specific use case. Instead of trying to serve every possible request, it is trained and optimized to do one thing exceptionally well. In our case, it's finding what people are desperately searching for but can't get and then building a product around it. That is the difference between content people can search online for free and products that make tens of thousands of dollars. So If you have ever tried and failed to use AI before to produce anything of good quality and quietly wondered if you were just not the type of person that this works for, that story isn't true. It was never true. And this week, you're going to find that out for yourself. Now, most people think that people fail in building an online income because they weren't smart enough, hardworking enough, or they just didn't have what it takes. And that's the farthest thing from the truth. The reason most people fail to build an online income or even an offline one is that they're playing a finite game. Listen to me, this is so important, and this will probably be the most important thing you take away from today. You need to play a game, you should avoid a game where running out of money means getting wiped out of the game entirely. The secret to succeeding in business has actually always been very simple. Make sure that you are playing an infinite game instead. Let me explain. In almost every traditional business, failure has a cost. An e-commerce store that doesn't convert burns through ad spend until the budget runs out. A service business that loses its biggest client loses the revenue it was counting on to cover its cost. A restaurant that has a slow month still has rent, staff, and inventory to pay for. Regardless, in each of these cases, the game has a timer on it. And if things don't work before the timer runs out, you're done. That pressure is what makes most people too afraid to start, and what forces the few who do to quit before they find out that it works. They run out of money before they can make the business work. And this is why the game we play with AI digital products is different. Here, nothing really happens when a product doesn't take off. There is no inventory to write off, no ad spend that didn't return, no ongoing costs while you're trying to figure out what to do next. The AI builds the product, and if it doesn't sell, you simply build another one at the same near zero cost as the first. You can try 10 times, you can try 50 times, you can try 100 times, and at the end of those 100 attempts, you are in the same financial position as when you started. You never get wiped out of the game, which means you can keep playing for as long as it takes. And the only way to truly fail is to choose to stop. Like this monetized client who launched not one, not two, not three, but 4 digital products in his first 30 days with the system. Think of it like having access to an unlimited slot machine, one where every pull of the lever costs you nothing. Are you going to hit the jackpot on the first try? Probably not. But can you eventually hit it if you just keep pulling? Almost certainly. Because unlike a real slot machine, the odds here improve with every attempt as you learn what the market responds to. And the most important part, you only need to hit it once. One product that finds its market is enough to change your entire financial situation. Take the example of Kuba, who in just 20 days of applying the system found his first product that hit the jackpot and made the equivalent of $2,500 straight from his country, Poland, and now is looking to scale up to $10,000. You see, this system allows you to get into this industry without putting anything on the line. Your job, your savings, your financial security, none of it needs to be touched. You're not betting on this, okay? You are just adding to what you already have. You keep your life exactly as it is, and you build this on the side at near zero cost until one product hits. And that is what makes this genuinely different from every other opportunity you've ever tried to look at. I'm not asking you to risk the life you've already built for the life that you want. All I'm doing is asking you to keep playing until you get there. And if you find one single profitable digital product, that's enough to change your entire life. That's exactly what it did to me, and that's exactly what happens every day to dozens of people already doing this. Look, I've had tens of thousands of people join one of my programs. Tens of thousands of people went on to make money with them and completely change their lives and financial situation. I've had guys going from delivering Uber Eats to making $10,000 a month in a matter of a couple months, and then going on to make $57,000 a month 6 months later. And do you want to know what the difference is between guys like Vaclav, who went on to achieve all of that, and other people who never reached the same level of success? We had people starting from every sort of situation you could imagine. People who started with zero work experience, people with a lot of experience working in their industry, people in extremely difficult personal and financial situations, people in very fortunate situations, people who were very good with their words, people who barely spoke English. And surprisingly, the starting point made no difference in their final result. We had those who had systematically failed, even with lots of previous knowledge and having everything in their favor. We also had those, okay, with no expertise, no technical knowledge or work experience who still managed to become successful. And to explain to you why that is, let me ask you a question. And I want you to be 100% honest with me. No judgment. Be honest with yourself right now. Do you feel right now that you are capable and deserving of having a business that makes $10,000 in the next 30 days? Yes or no? Don't be afraid to give the real answer here, okay? We're all on the same journey and no one's going to judge you. Now, let me change the scenario a little bit. I want you to now imagine that your mother has just been diagnosed with a terminal disease and she needs to go get an emergency operation urgently this month. It's not something that can wait. But there's a very small detail that you need to take care of. The only way to have the procedure done this month is to do it privately, which means it will cost you $10,000, which you currently don't have. In that situation, do you think you'd be capable of figuring out something to generate the $10,000 in not even 30 days, in 7 days? Okay, F that. So now I ask you, what is the difference in each of these situations? The difference is the why. The why behind what you're doing makes all of the difference. It's the why behind the actions that make you achieve what right now you don't think is possible. It makes you break the limitations you set for yourself. After helping more than 10,000 individuals to create an online income, it became obvious. All of the successful ones had a why behind the business they were starting. And more often than not, that why was not related to them. They were doing it for someone else, for their mom, for their family, their wife, their girlfriend, for their son. The fact of the matter is, we are all going to face setbacks in this journey. It doesn't matter what you do, how much information you have, or what business you get into, you will face setbacks. So I have one question for you. One question that will set apart the challengers reaching $10,000 a month from those who will inevitably give up. What is your why? Is it living on your own terms and never having to obey a boss again? Is it making sure your parents are taken care of? Is it helping your loved ones and giving them gifts? Is it the freedom to travel wherever you want and whenever you want? It's only with a powerful why that you will be able to profit from this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that is AI digital products. So what I want you to do after this episode is I want you to note down your why. This is as important, if not more, than all of the content I'm going to give you today. I hope you understand this. It was this exact reason that made me succeed as well. I had an insanely strong why. And since I'm here asking you to note down your why, I think it's only fair that I share my own why with you. And rather than telling you, I'd rather show you. So I prepared something we're going to pull up on screen right now. Ole, if you show them, what's my why?
My second why is my mom. You know, I realize that my mom has done so much for me, and if I can work hard and I can show her that all the years of cleaning up shit and staying at home when she could be out with her friends, if I could show her that that was all worth it and I'm doing something with it, that motivates me and that gets me off my ass.
Let me take you back exactly a year ago. I was actually sitting in the room right behind me with my mom, and I made her the promise that I would take her to Paris.
Where are we going?
Here.
Where are we going?
First time in Paris, first time in France, actually.
Stop!
You know, I just remember day after day coming downstairs and just seeing my mom clip those fucking coupons, and I just remember thinking, like, no, like this is not gonna be my life. This is not gonna be our life.
My mom was the youngest of 7 growing up in the Soviet Union. You know, she would stand in line for bread, trying to get, in cold, harsh winter, to get her rations for the family.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is my why. And with a strong why, there's only one thing standing between you and success. It is a structured action plan to develop your first AI digital product, so that way you can turn it into actual money in your bank account. So let me ask you a question. Can you follow a simple step-by-step action plan? If you can make money with this. So do you want me to give you this exact same action plan that has generated 23.9 million in tracked digital product sales the last 2 times I made this public? Well, that is exactly what I'm going to deliver to you in tomorrow's session. And you must be here to watch it live, because if you take that and combine it with this opportunity that I've shown you today, this will be the most powerful opportunity you have ever had in your hands before it becomes mainstream. So make sure to set the notification for tomorrow's episode already Also, I'm going to go ahead and drop in the chat right now the link to the early bird group to get more information on the very limited offer that we're going to present in a later episode of this challenge. I'm going to get the team to drop it as a pinned comment in the live chat as well as in the video description. Just to remind you, the first 888 people to join this offer will get an exclusive bonus where you get the opportunity to work together on your first AI digital product side by side with me for 4 intense days. And the people in this group will get to crack this safe open 15 minutes before anyone else. Okay, you get a 15-minute head start before everyone else on the stream. And that is why it is essential for you to join the WhatsApp group right now. The last time I made this available, this bonus expired faster than I could announce it. And this time, it'll probably go even faster. And now, it's time for us to have some fun. This is the part of the session that you will only see if you are here live. Everything from this part on will get cut out from the replays right away after the live session ends. So if you leave, you will miss out. So now, okay, you already know why joining the group is essential if you want to work closer together and have a head start over everyone else. So with that being said, let's get into the Q&A session.